So, you want to go to war with no guns? This guy does. It's kind of cool because Andrew Garfield went from playing a fictitious superhero to a real superhero. Mel Gibson directs Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge tells the story of Desmond Doss, a young man from Virginia who enlists in the army during World War II, despite his belief that killing is wrong, even in times of war. Andrew Garfield portrays Desmond Doss, and Desmond Doss, at least in this movie, he was actually pretty good at his basic training. Top of the class, peak physical conditioning, he accomplished everything that the army asked of him, with one exception. He just refused to pick up a gun. He refused to even attempt any sort of score on his ability with a gun. And that really didn't sit well with his drill sergeant, with his captain, with everyone in his camp. His father, portrayed by Hugo Weaving, who did an amazing job, by the way, amazing performance from Hugo Weaving. His father doesn't want him to join, doesn't want him to enlist. He is a World War I vet, and for reasons that I won't spoil, but that should be somewhat obvious, he's a World War I vet. He doesn't want his son to go fight in World War II. Hugo Weaving delivered a really heartfelt performance in this film. I was really impressed. You were even talking Oscar buzz? Oscar buzz for Hugo Weaving? I didn't even know that Hugo Weaving was in the movie. I don't remember seeing him in a trailer. And for me, he is one of the breakouts of, I mean, he's not a breakout, obviously he's a well-established actor, but he is one of the performances that you walk away from this movie remembering. And like in most war movies, Desmond Doss has a love interest. I won't spoil what the nature behind the love interest is, but it is the thing that happens a lot. War movies, guy goes off to war, has a lady at home.
You want to have something to come home to that you're excited about, that's keeping you motivated.
Yes, nothing like a woman to keep a man laser focused. Although she and he have a little bit of a conflict. He is really standing up for his morals, his beliefs, his principles, and I think she kind of sees the strain and the stress and the real harm that is being done to him as a person based on him standing up for this one specific thing. Oh, and we got Vince Vaughn portraying the drill sergeant. Vince Vaughn. At first, when Vince Vaughn hops on screen and he's doing the drill sergeant thing, I'm kind of going like, you're not R. Lee Ermey. What's going on? But then as it goes along, you go, oh, okay. Not every drill sergeant is going to be R. Lee Ermey, as much as they are in my brain. It's interesting getting that Vince Vaughn style of comedy interjected into a drill sergeant character.
They brought him in knowing that full well and tailoring the character around him.
Yes, he is exactly what you would think Vince Vaughn would be if he were a drill sergeant. A thing that struck me about the movie is that it is very cinematic. Not as dark and gritty as, say, a movie like Saving Private Ryan, for example. That's another wartime movie, very dark, very dirty, very realistic. This one sort of came across as a little more grandiose. It wasn't as jumpy or over the shoulder as it could have been. It felt like the shots weren't meant to make you think that you were right there in the war with them. There were huge, wide, sweeping aerial shots. You were really given the scope of like how high Hacksaw Ridge was, the scale of the battlefield, and actually the confusing nature of the battle once it sort of got underway. I, as an audience member, sometimes couldn't really tell which way they were supposed to be headed and which way the fire was coming from. The really thick fog, it was shot that way to make it look beautiful as wars can get. They're not really beautiful, but I think you know what I'm saying. It's a movie. And they have a special heartwarming treat at the end that I really enjoyed. It just goes to show that you don't always need to be an aggressor to be a hero. Sometimes being the defender allows you to save more lives than being the aggressor. And I think Desmond Doss showed that. And sticking to your values. When everybody else is telling you that something is right, but you believe it's wrong, staying true to who you are, it's a good thing. Overall, guys, I would say definitely see this one. Definitely in the theater. Support this film. I thought it was quite beautiful. I thought it had very heartfelt performances. Just go to the movie to see Hugo Weaving. His performance was incredible. So guys, Hacksaw Ridge. Did you watch the movie? What did you think about that cinematic nature of the film? Would you have preferred a more gritty version, or did you like the way Mel Gibson did it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. And as always, if you want to watch me ramble on about movies, you can click right there to subscribe. The really thick thought, Thick Thog, there it is. Sam Worthington's in the movie too. He plays the captain. He was in the unfortunately trailered Terminator Salvation. I thought it was an okay movie, just had an unfortunate trailer. They spoiled a major plot point in the trailer. You watch the trailer and you're like, oh, and then the movie comes around and you're like, well, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That was in the trailer. I didn't know what to expect from this trailer. I just, it was a lot of like cinematic war shots and Desmond Doss saying, I'm not going to pick up the gun. I like when trailers don't give you too much. And speaking of trailers that don't give away too much, Arrival is coming next.